Hey everyone, welcome back to Buzzworthy. I'm your host, Shlacey Harris. I dive into the rare stories entrepreneurs tell about building their businesses, but most importantly, themselves. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Today I am back, your host, Shlacey Harris, with Kim Murphy from It's a Wonderful Life Coaching. And Kim is going to take us through her story from teaching people how to get comfortable with a mouse playing solitaire from back in the days when computers weren't really a thing to now creating and being an advocate for women through her company, It's a Wonderful Life. Kim, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
Yeah, it's when you just said to me you had to teach people how to use a mouse and how to get comfortable using it kind of feels like decades, not even decades, like centuries ago. Because
Was
me, for one, I grew up with computers. I've had one since, 1997 or so, not really dating myself, but yeah, I kind of grew up with computers. So it's fascinating to know that people were uncomfortable with
yeah,
a mouse and not really knowing how to use it, how to move it. And you've obviously you've been through the evolution of technology, and seen that, but you made a pivot into coaching women and advocating for women. So really excited to learn about that story and what threw you into the world of becoming an entrepreneur. So
Mm.
tell me a little bit about that. Like, what do you think set you up to eventually become an entrepreneur within your life?
I do believe it's in my blood from my dad. I get this from my dad. He had always wanted to have his own business, and the Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 has always been fine. I've done it like way back in the day. I taught people about computers, but I was always coaching and teaching even back then. And how
Mhm.
do I do this for myself? So when I got downsized the first time, like, oh, yay, yay, yay. And it took my own personal crash to lead me to coaching and empowerment coaching and trauma
Mm.
release. And that's, I think, pretty much every coach's journey. It's something that
Yeah.
we needed personally that led us here. So I was in IT because I should. I was smart. I knew numbers, and that's what you should do. I didn't want
Yeah.
to, but that's what I was supposed to do. So that's what I did. I hated every minute of it, but I did it.
Yeah, and I think we are all sort of given a very cookie cutter life. You go to, you're born, you have fun, you go to kindergarten, elementary school, high school, college, get a job, get married, have kids, retire, die eventually. But now, I think it's a little bit more freeing. There've always been entrepreneurs like your
Yes.
dad, of course, but even entrepreneurs back then still wanted their own kids to kind of, aim and reach for those very societal measures of success and what we should and are expected
True.
to do.
Yeah, that should has always been there for men and women, but I
Mhm.
focus on women and the things that we should do. All the people we should take care of, all the ways we should silence ourselves. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just the way it's always been. And that's what I feel my role is to help women challenge that
Yeah.
because the status quo is fine, but fine is not great.
Yes.
I want things to be great. I want them to be
Mhm.
wonderful. And this is what I do is with helping women is get through that trauma
Yeah.
that's been stored in our body from all the shoulds we've taken on and figure out what do you want? Where do you want to
Yeah.
go? That's what's really important.
And so for you, Kim, you mentioned that, there was sort of a breaking point.
Mhm.
What sort of led up to that? Because like I know I've had my own breaking points when it comes to,
Mhm.
the regular 9 to 5, but like what was yours? And I know a lot of people experience it. There are probably people still working a 9 to 5, which
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5,
Mhm.
but you have to be happy in it. And you can't be
Yes, yes.
getting to that point where you're cracking and cracking until you break
Right.
because not that you can't put yourself back together, but you want to make sure that you're taking the right risk for yourself and not live in the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, I love that analogy. Crack it until you break. That's really powerful because that's exactly it. I was in a computer role with a pharmaceutical company in Mississauga. I had three kids that were athletes. They were all rep hockey players, and one was a track. So I was running and going and taking care of everybody. And I just kept pushing through because that's what I was supposed to do. It has to get done. I was a single mom. I had no support. I just did it
Yeah.
until I literally couldn't. One Christmas, my kids were going to their dad's, got them all dressed, and they were gone. I think I showered. I'm pretty sure I showered and put on the pajamas that I got myself for Christmas. Might have been for some sort of foretelling in there. And I sat in a chair for 4.5 hours until they came home, and I couldn't move. Well, I should do that. I should do that. I should. I couldn't move until my kids came home, and then poof, I was super mom again because everything needed to be taken care of for them.
Yeah.
Me, I didn't matter. I didn't like say, oh, I can't do this. I'm at a point where I'm not happy. I'm not comfortable. There's something wrong. Push through. So I did mention it to somebody at work, and that's how I found coaching. I found I had to go to a naturopath. I went to a psychologist, and thank goodness they said I was depressed. Depression was different back then. They looked for signs of suicide, and I had no
Okay.
suicide. I was okay. I was just physically exhausted, really, is what it was.
Yeah.
And so they gave me a clean bill of health. I'm whoosh, dodged that bullet, but I didn't dodge any bullet. It came back 10 years later. I just kept finding a different way to push through. I put some band-aids on a
Yeah.
scar that needed stitches, and eventually those band-aids burst, and I had my second burnout, that was when I really went, okay, what's going on here? So that's when I really dove in with the empowerment coaching,
Yeah.
and
And something fundamental had to change at that
exactly.
time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a very good way to put it. It is fundamentally
Mhm.
because I kept doing the same things over and over again and keep looking up going, why am I here again? Why am I burnt out? Because I hadn't changed anything fundamentally. Yeah. Beautiful way to
Yeah.
put it. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
So when you look back at that time, as you were doing everything you were supposed to, like
Mhm.
what questions were you asking yourself? Like, is this what it's supposed to be like? Like, is this what life is supposed to be like? Or are we just supposed to suck it up and move on? Like when did you start to ask those questions and really start to take action on them?
I love that because back in pre-burnout, I couldn't afford to ask myself those questions. I couldn't afford to allow myself to think there was something wrong. Just keep going, keep going. You can do it. You can do it. Lack of sleep, whatever, work extra hours. You could do it. It
Yeah.
was when my second burnout going, uh-oh, okay, what about me? And for me to put myself first, that was
Yeah.
one of the hardest things I've ever done. I've
Mhm.
never put myself first. I was raised to put myself last, third, fourth, after everybody, even after the dog was
Yeah.
taken care of, then came me. So to switch it, and I don't believe that I'm the only woman that's like that. We are
Yeah.
trained to, as nurturers, to take care of everybody else. So
Mhm.
that's a really good question. I don't know this specific moment when that change came. It
Yeah.
was a slow evolution for me as I started
Mhm.
taking care of myself because I'd heal, go a couple steps forward and then a couple steps back. And so it took a while for that all to sink in because
Yeah.
the mindset I had was deeply ingrained in me that I was not enough. What's wrong with you is how I was
Mhm.
raised. And that took so long to
Break
delete
through.
that. If we're going to talk computer systems, delete that from my mainframe, so to speak.
But it becomes a part of you. And when
Yeah.
you can't like identify with that anymore, then you're left with how do you redefine yourself? And that's hard.
And that was exactly it because I was doing all this healing. So I was essentially a different person with this silly old mindset, but I didn't know what to do. And
Hmm.
that's part of the reason I go into coaching because I want to help people. I want to help you. I'll show you the way. I'll show you what to do. I don't tell people what to, together we make a plan, but that's
Yeah.
how I start my coaching framework is what do you want? If your life was perfect, what do you want? You've been taking care of everybody else. Let's stop and think about you. Oh,
Hmm.
and that's such a weird thing for someone who's been conditioned to not put themselves first to do.
Yeah. And it's baby steps,
Mm,
like
abs-
there there's small things that you can do on a daily basis that says, I care for me, you
Yes,
know?
absolutely. This is
Yeah.
what I say to people. Our system didn't get so degraded by flipping a switch. It was like a dimmer switch, one little notch at a time, one little
Right.
trauma, one little thing. And so we've got to reverse it that way exactly. Small steps, one little thing. That's why I say to somebody, you
Mhm.
want to lose weight. I'm not asking you to run a marathon. Walk 5 more steps than you did yesterday. Do one little thing,
Yeah.
make yourself feel good and go, oh, I did it, because we have to start getting our head into, wow, I can do it, because we can.
Mhm.
We
In
just have
your
been told, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, because we've been taught that we can't do it. We've been taught that no, you don't do that. Yeah, do it.
Mhm. In your own healing journey, like what were some of those small things that you did as, Kim started to realize, okay, I'm redefining myself.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pulling back some time for me.
yeah.
What were some of those things? Because I know for me, when I'm not, especially during the winter when there are gray days outside
Oh,
and I'm just
yeah.
not feeling the greatest,
I get you.
I wear color. I wear color.
Brilliant.
I like in the winters is when my nails are the most fun color. My
I
clothes are the
love
most
it.
fun color. When everyone else is wearing like muted, neutral colors, it's just like if I'm feeling good, like this is the one small thing I'm gonna do to
Oh,
make sure that I feel good. And that's how I decide I'm gonna feel taken care of in that way by myself. But how did you do it?
that is brilliant. I love that, because it is one little thing. And if you're feeling good, you look in the mirror and you feel good. I started with Louise Hay and I dove in deep. The first
Mhm.
thing I started to do was look in the mirror and tell myself I love myself, which is not an easy thing to do. That's not a beginner thing to, now I know it's not
Yeah.
a beginner thing to do, because I couldn't even look at myself, let alone say I love you. And that's a
Mhm.
really, because I hadn't ever loved myself. I hadn't been taught to love myself. I have to teach myself to love myself. And I do have a self-love course, because we've been gotten away from that. So
Yes.
the Louise Hay was good. And I love journaling. I love writing, getting pen to paper and just getting it out. That's the big
Mhm.
thing. That's the secret weapon for trauma, healing, everything is get it out, talk about it. With trauma, we freeze and we keep it all in, and we're just so
Yes.
tight. Talking about it is the secret weapon. So that's me talk. I can do that.
So talking and writing is sort of that outlet you created
Mhm,
for
mhm.
yourself where you're just like, this is how I'm going to release whatever is being pent up inside of me.
Those were my first steps for sure. And then through the
Mhm.
empowerment coaching, I went and healed. God bless my family. There was a lot of narcissism in the family, and that leaves its mark as well. So the first step was the empowerment coaching. And then I realized there was trauma in my body. And I call it small t trauma, because everybody knows what the horrible, violent trauma is. But
Yeah.
the microaggressions, they've been told we're not worthy, being dismissed in media, it all leaves a mark in our body, and we have to get it out. And that's my thing. Let's get it out. And it's the
Yeah.
most amazing, simple procedure to engage the vagus nerve to get this out. So that was the last step for my healing journey, so to speak. But I also had to address my mindset. We talked
Mhm.
about this before, because
Yeah.
I am not worthy is was my go-to, and I had to start writing in my journal. I am amazing. I am what I had to fake it till I made it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I love for women to do, is we might have to fake it, but you'll get there.
Mhm. But you have to look for like proof points, you know? It's I think what's interesting as we talk about this is I think a lot of people see looking for those moments to sort of build yourself up and build that confidence is
Right.
like, oh, what do I have confidence in? It's just like, what are those small little things that I could say,
Yeah.
yes, I'm good at this. Yes,
Yes.
I'm good at that. So you can't just like sit in one place and hope to be good at everything, right?
Right.
There's
Right.
still action, there's still work associated with it. So with all of this, you went on your healing journey and you are feeling really great about yourself. What made you say, I need to focus on women and I need to help other women do that? Like, what was the problem you were seeing happening with women in the world, I guess?
I have always been a strong advocate for women. I have three very
Mhm.
strong independent daughters. I raised them to be strong and smart. I wanted to give them, I didn't know that it was missing in me, but that's what I've
Mhm.
always been for women. I was always the advocate for women. And my coaching, when I realized I could coach women, I hired an empowerment coach myself. Like,
Mhm.
oh, this is what I'd like to do. Then I hired a trauma coach. Oh, and I added that to my formula. Oddly enough, I was away on vacation in Dominican Republic in the pool, chatting with people, having drinks. Too much information, sorry. And
No,
this woman
that's
and
how you
I
enjoy yourself.
clicked. And we were talking, and I said, we need to." She was from Toronto. We need to connect." She told me her name, and I said, "Oh shoot, I won't remember that." To add you, add me. My name's easy, Kim Murphy. Oh, no, no, no. I already have a Kim Murphy in my LinkedIn. You're going to have to find me. We knew each other from Toronto from 20 years ago. We had interacted, but she was the magic moment for me that put it all into perspective. 50 is the magic age for women. And that's really
Interested.
when I went, oh my God, I dove in because it was, late 40s, 50 for me as well. We have been giving and giving and giving, and 50 is, hey, what about me? And I
Mhm.
don't know why that's, I mean, everything's we've been giving, our hormones are going crazy, work is, and those are the women I like to coach because they come to 50 years old and went, oh, wait a second, I deserve more. And where does that come from at age 50? I don't know. But that's the magic sauce for me.
So, do you think it's like part of just like the life cycle is why that age is really
I think
important?
so. Because at 50, your career work has gone well or not gone well, and things that just, I don't know what it is about that, within 10 years. Oh, and it's all women and men too. Men go through midlife crisis. This is kind of our midlife crisis is a different way, and it's all women. And I mean, the conditioning doesn't start at 50. It started when we're kids, be a good
Yeah.
girl, so at 50 seems to be the awakening, for
Mhm.
lack of a better term. But I would love all women to be advocates for themselves. And that's really where I want to go. I coach 50 and above, but all women need to just stand strong and understand our power and worth and where we can go.
Hmm. So, do you think like what do you see as like a recurring thing more specifically? Like what is the moment that a woman might say to herself, I think I need support in this way to live a more wonderful life?
And that in itself is a sad question with the respect that women have been taught to push through and push through. And like me, till I'm sitting in a chair and I can't move. We don't even know what's wrong. So, for instance, this woman I was talking to in the pool, I'm irritated, my husband, my children, da da da. And her life was good. And she couldn't figure out what was wrong. She couldn't figure out, I need support. I don't know why we have that almost conditioned out of us as well, keep pushing through. So I don't, I wish I had a clear answer for that one because every woman, every person is different. But it's like you've got an itch that you can't scratch. There's something wrong, and we can't quite figure out what it is. And it's usually our own worth has been eroded to the point where we're just exhausted.
Yeah, I think you actually nailed it in exactly what you just said, though,
Oh, thank you.
is is that their worth has been eroded because throughout life, by the age of 50, if we go back, people's kids would have been maybe like late teenagers, they're already in their 20s, and their whole value came from raising their kids,
Yeah, yeah.
making sure those kids are well. But now those kids are adults. Yes, they still need their mom in some capacity, but your role for them as that, real everyday anchor has now changed. So, like, what now becomes that anchor for you to keep giving in a
Yeah.
way that is meaningful, that says, okay, I am valuable to the world. Because when you have a small kid in front of you, you can see your value because you know you
Yeah,
tangibly
yeah,
have to do
yeah.
for them, right? I'm not saying everyone that's 50 has kids and
No.
sees it that way, but
Mhm.
I think maybe that's probably some of the issues that actually arises. Like my mom has 5 kids,
Mhm.
right? And it's funny because when it got to the point of like all of us leaving home at some point, you could see that she just really wanted us to stay because now what would she do with herself? You know, and
Yeah,
she still loves all of us
yeah,
coming over and things like that. But eventually she redefined what her relationships were
yeah,
with all of
yeah,
us to
yeah.
deliver value in a very
Yeah.
different way for all of us. And like right now, my mom and our relationship is exceptional. And I would have never thought it would be
Yay.
that way. And I'm really
Yeah.
like happy and proud to say that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, but I think it was sort of the same for her. It's just like the emptying of the nest, and now time is so much because it used to be
Yeah, yeah,
filled with
yeah,
everybody else,
yeah.
and now it's just like an echo chamber of all the things that you push through that just come floating to the top again.
You absolutely nailed that. Yes, that was me the second time round, and that's exactly it. The house is quiet. I didn't want them to go. Now it's just me. Ooh, and that's true. That is, you hit the nail right on the head on that one, true, because it's all the quiet time now too.
Yeah, it's the quiet
Hmm.
time, and what do you do with that?
Hmm.
So, what did you do with that quiet time, um, to then decide, it's a wonderful life is truly what I want to do, and this is the group I'm going to focus on.
Well, interestingly enough, I didn't embrace the quiet time. My daughter was a single mom, and she became a police officer here in Hamilton, and she
Mhm.
needed someone to help raise her grandson. So my quiet time turned into helping raise my grandson. But
Yeah.
that's when I started my coaching, started my training, started doing whatever. And so now, as of last year, she's engaged, and I am free as a bird. And so it's all about me. But it was a hard transition at first because I was on my own for a couple of years and I didn't know what to do with myself. Like, oh, what do I? And I hadn't started my training as a coach. I was trying
Mhm.
to work and trying to do things that were shoulds, not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so it's just been a mixed bag of, I never took a clear path. It was always zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. So I took the scenic route to get here.
Everyone should take the scenic route. It's
Yes,
the
yeah,
most
yeah.
beautiful. Like, whose life that isn't a scenic route is interesting to listen to.
And this is just it. Everything happens for a reason. All the lessons that came into my life helped me get where I am now. And even the word mindset was just, I've had my framework done for a long time. I was,
Mhm.
and the fourth piece is mindset, but I didn't have the word mindset till a couple days ago. And I was, oh, that's it's always evolving. It's just funny the travels that we go on. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's it's really incredible to know, and I think very satisfying. And I think more people should see that life isn't cookie cutter and
Mm-mm.
taking the scenic route isn't a
No.
bad thing because it evolves you and it challenges you in so many different ways, like
Mhm.
from a
Mhm.
character perspective to the person you actually want to be, right? Like
Yes.
if things don't happen to us, we don't build character unless that happens, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And for me, I look at, I'm a millennial, but when I look at the younger generations and some of the challenges they have from a confidence standpoint and um, just just the ability to move through the world a little bit easier.
Mhm.
I think it's the lack of challenges that they had as young people to to build the confidence to know that okay, if this goes wrong, I can still get back onto a path
Mhm.
that I want,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
have the confidence to know I can pivot into something else. And I think your client base that you're working with is kind of at that moment in time, because we'll have multiple moments in time throughout our
Yes.
lives like that. And having the right person to help you navigate that
Mhm.
is actually quite important. And those can be friends, those can be family, but they can
Yep.
be coaches like you as well too.
Mhm. And the work that we all do has ripple
Mhm.
effects. So I'm helping myself, but I'm my kids, my grandkids, and healing generations of small t trauma. And it's amazing
Mhm.
how we're changing our vocabulary, and it changes the kids' vocabulary and the grandkids and whatnot. So it is a ripple effect. And I don't envy the younger generation now because nothing is quiet anymore. There's so much noise, and the quiet is so important. And the competition with the phones and how you can look how everybody is, and it's hard. It's not an easy thing, and I don't envy people going through that right now because I look at my grandson who's 15. I think, oh Lord, the his look is so important. He's got to have everything just so,
Yeah.
and it's at school. It just the kids are mean, is what he says, and it doesn't need to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the world is definitely a very different place, and
Hmm. Hmm.
um but how you navigate it, I think, is
Is
most
important.
important.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what your framework is all about.
Oh, exactly. Oh, exactly. Yeah. And I'm in a new area here in Hamilton, and it's a more industrial area. And as I walk, I still say good morning to everybody, and I think, okay, they'll
Mhm.
get used to me.
Yeah,
Just yeah, yeah,
eventually.
yeah. Eventually, yeah, because I've gotten good morning a few times. Why? Why? Let's be friendly. We're all in the same area. Let's be nice. It's
Mhm.
life's too short to be crabby in the morning. So.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So let's dive into the framework you've created
Oh, thank you.
um, to help your clients and just help people navigate, like, what is the next step for them? Because,
Right.
sometimes it's hard to know how you move forward when you don't necessarily understand the past. And we can't understand absolutely
Mhm.
everything.
No,
Some things we just have to let it be and let it stay
it's
back
true.
there
Yeah.
and choose to move forward in
Right.
a particular way. So what's that framework that you take clients into that helps them sort of see their life in a way that is more exciting for them and where they
Yes.
want to be?
And that's so important to see their life can be exciting. And the first part is visualization. Let's just dream. What do you want? That we take some time. And what is your dream life? Again, we're not going to make a roadmap right now, but let's just
Mhm.
start picturing the possibilities and what could be happen. That's the first framework, is to dream. The second one is, okay, well, what are the problems? There's something blocking you. What's blocking you? And we go into some empowerment coaching, or we go into trauma release, and we heal that because it's got to be healed, got to be released from
Mhm.
the body to move on. The third set is my brain is not working at this moment, mindset. We have to reprogram yourself because we've been I'm not worthy. Yes, you are. And fake it till you make it. And it's when you start telling yourself, I'm amazing, I'm wonderful, all these things, and journaling about it sits, it lands, it stays with you. And then the fourth part is let's make a plan of well, let's get you to that dream. And first of all, is that dream from the first step still the same now that you've gone through all this? And let's make a plan. Let's do the small steps to get you where you want to go, one
Yeah.
thing at a time. So it's very basic. It's a lot more in depth than that, but that's the four pillars of the framework that I use. Everything I do is based on security, foundation, and love. And
Mhm.
I put it akin to building a house. You just don't go pour concrete on the ground. You have to clean out the ground and make sure it's
Yeah.
level, to make sure it's secure. Then you pour your foundation, and then you pour your love into that house, and you live there. And that's how
Yeah.
the coaching is. Let's clean out all the cobwebs, pour that beautiful foundation of who you are, and build your life with love. Self-love is really
Mhm.
one of the last pillars as well, because we need to learn to love ourselves.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I don't know if I see it as a last pillar, but maybe one of the first pillars. Um, from my perspective, because if I think people think loving yourself looks a particular way.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yes.
but you a lot of things, like you might not love yourself right away, but you can start to like yourself.
Yeah,
You
oh,
can like
absolutely.
yourself at certain areas because
100%.
if if you see value in yourself,
Yeah.
then of course you'll like yourself.
And it's
And
back to that dimmer switch. We have to do one little switch. Exactly.
yeah,
I like how I did that. And one of the exercises I do is what people call, I didn't get this done. I didn't get this done. What did you get done today? Tell me about, because women forget all the things that we do 10 things. I missed one thing off my list. And
that's a bad day. Yeah.
yeah,
When it,
exactly.
it truly was a good day.
It was a good day. Look at all you did. And so when that part of the mindset, reframing, look at what you did. I was, oh, yeah, at that event we met, the woman
Mhm.
said, oh, women are juggling balls and we can't drop them because they're going to break. Oh, no, they won't. It'll sprubber,
Yeah.
it'll bounce right back. But it's not that statement wasn't her fault. That's her conditioning. That's how she sees the world. I have to get it all done. And that's a lot of pressure.
That is a lot of pressure. That's a
Yeah,
lot of pressure indeed.
yeah,
So your first pillar is dreaming.
yeah.
Um, what are women dreaming at
Well,
50
and
years old?
it's very personal, very specific to each one. If
Hmm.
some want a cottage, some want to get away, some want career, some want family life. It's everyone's very different. I can't think of some of the strange dreams. I not strange, but that's yeah. I can't think of an example. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on this, but it's
Oh,
everything
that's okay.
from
Let's pick career. Let's just pick career for example,
yes.
because we know, I was actually having a conversation with one of my good friends, Katie, the other day, and we were talking about how sometimes women get phased out of the workforce way faster than men do.
Yep.
So, and I think women are aware of that. So,
Yep.
dreaming of a career at 50 must look
Mhm.
different,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Must look different. And so, how does somebody decide at 50, even if they decide, they're going back to sort of what they've always done, whether it's a corporate role, whether it's something else that they were a nurse or something like that, or they decide to go the route of being an entrepreneur like yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, how does career planning at that stage look when you're dreaming differently about it?
Yes. And it's just a matter of when you're dreaming differently, you see things differently. So before the career that was frustrating and they were unhappy with, oh, wait, it can be. Oh,
Mhm.
wait, I do like that. But it was the situations, their mindset, the environment they were in made
Mhm.
them feel they were unhappy. So that happens as well. I have a client who's a VP of IT. That's where she wants to stay. She had some mindset work to do to get herself there. But it's again, believe you can do it. Women, when we apply for jobs, have to have 85% of the qualifications, men, 30. So this is again a shift for women to understand you are smart, you are powerful, you can do this. Even though this woman is a VP of IT, she's got that little, I got downsized. No, there was a corporate thing. It was the company was losing money. It had nothing to, you just happened to be one of the people. It wasn't anything personal. And we've
Mhm.
got to remove that personal aspect and have them go back to their mindset to understand you're amazing. You can
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. But was it really not personal that, a corporate environment might not want um
A 50 something's,
old
yeah,
woman? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Like I think what happens is that the nicer part of things are just like, of course, of course we want more senior women,
Mhm, mhm,
to come and work for us,
mhm.
etc. But then in practice, that's not what's actually happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, I think there's a huge challenge with even, young moms, right?
Oh, yeah,
When they come off of maternity leave,
yeah,
going back into the workforce, how do they re-enter the
yeah.
workforce in a way that employers might feel confident with them? And
Mhm,
that's where you
mhm.
see a lot of women, because they're not giving the flexibility, they're not given all of these extra things that they actually become entrepreneurs themselves because then
Mhm.
that truly does give them the flexibility that they
Yeah,
need.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true though. And and again, men aren't held to these standards. These are
Yeah.
women's standards. Women
Hmm.
can have been sold, oh, you can have it all. You can have the career, you can have the family, you can have, men aren't held to that standard.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And it's just, that's what I really would love to see change. I don't know how I'm going to help change that, but I will help change that because
Yeah.
we women need to stand tall. We're valuable. My VP of IT is fabulous. She's incredibly smart. But
Hmm.
why would she downsize? I don't go there, but
Yeah.
we have
Oh,
to,
absolutely.
yeah, we have,
Not for you to say, but
no,
just
no, no, exactly.
societally.
But it's
Yeah.
true though. This differential, and I don't, people say I'm a feminist. Well, oh yeah, okay. But I want everything equal. I think we should have the same standards as men have, but it's going to take a
Mhm.
long time to get there. And when I hear people say we've come a long way, I'm like, oh my God, that we even have to say that, but we have.
I definitely do think we've come a long way. And I mean, I still think about, equality over equity over equality because I do think like
Mhm, mhm.
men and women have different roles in the world, but
Yep.
women when women are in this place where, they are driven by their career, and that's, traditionally a man's
Mhm,
valuable
mhm,
goal and dream of theirs. But how do you help women see the world for what it is, but understanding that they still have choice, they still have value, they still have capability
mhm,
to achieve a dream that they might want. And maybe this wasn't the dream that they actually wanted, and
mhm.
it's something else. How do you help them navigate um, something they've always held on to, and matching that to what the reality of their experience is, and then helping them move forward to the right space? Because you can keep applying for, let's say, these corporate jobs or whatever it is and not getting them, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
every rejection is a no. But at some point, when you get so many no's, it's really a redirection. And redirecting is hard. And um, how do you help them with dreaming differently when they've come across so many no's and finding a new path?
That's a hard one too, because the no's really do take their toll, and you've got to have a good support group around you.
Yeah.
So that's part of the picture, because what I teach women to do is we've got to change the conversations with some of the people that are around you, because you've
Hmm.
been saying yes when you want to say no, and no is not an easy one.
No.
I actually have a relationship that I've known the woman for 50 years. I said
Hmm.
no. I had boundaries. She's not used to me having boundaries. I said no, and she hasn't spoken to me since January because I said no. So this is what I help women through, because I know I've been there. It's happened. You deserve to have that boundary. And with the job search is a really hard one, because these days no answer is the new no. And I hate that. Let's just communicate. And you're sending everything online and it's going into the big void. So I have to teach women too to understand that this isn't personal at all. This is into the big void. Because I have recruited in the past, and I've had candidates apply to my
Hmm.
client and didn't get through. So I submit them. Oh, that person's fabulous. So I explain this.
Absolutely.
So I explain this to people. This is just a computer. You don't have all the keywords in there. You're missing out. So I teach women,
Hmm.
call the person. This is such a lost art these days. Picking up the phone and calling them. You see the person who's the recruiter, call them. It's
Hmm.
not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of courage, but the first call is the hardest one. After that, it's like, oh, yeah, I can do that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's that. Be proactive about it. Don't let, no one's coming to save you. You're the captain of your own ship. So where do you want your ship to go? You've got to steer that. So pick up the reins and do the work yourself, do the action. It's all action. You mentioned that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all action oriented.
Yeah.
I love it that you're able to help support women through whatever dreams that they do
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
and help them sort of navigate that. So after dreaming, what was the next step again?
We've got to find out the problems. What's been keeping you back? What's
Hmm.
stopping you from there? And there's all exercises I go with the person, but is it trauma from your family? Is it something? Where is the block? There has to be a block. And that one I do a lot of, I get them to do a lot of writing. There's rituals. We got to write out to the horrible person that abused you, set it on fire, watch it up, go up in flames, and then gentle trauma release too, because it's all held in the body. Engage the vagus nerve and get it out of the body. And you
Mhm.
don't immediately feel different, but you feel different.
Yeah.
It's just almost like a lightness in your body, like, oh, okay. And it's not like magically the world has changed colors or anything. It's just, it's all very slow, and ease and grace is how I do this. So it's a healing, getting rid of those problems.
Hmm. So do you do these in like group sessions or these are one-on-one experiences?
This is my sorry to interrupt. I'm got excited there. This is my passion
Yeah.
to do it in group sessions. I was actually at
Okay.
the YMC this morning because group healing is so much more powerful than individual. And I'm just launching courses to do this in groups because
Mhm.
we all think we're alone. We're not alone. We've got to normalize these conversations. You're not happy. That's okay. Why are you not happy? Because people have been just women have been, oh, that's wrong with me. No, no, no. It's okay to be
Yeah.
unhappy. Let's figure out what the problem is and solve it. So I do one-on-one right now, but my passion is I want to go to group because when you see other people going through the same thing as you, it just is so powerful.
I think that's what the world actually needs,
Yeah.
though,
Mhm.
because we're more, I'm using air quotes here, connected than ever.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I agree. Yeah.
However, we're the most
I was
disconnected
just going to say that.
than
Exactly.
ever.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right in terms of people believing that this thing is only happening to me.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
even if somebody else it's happening to, no, but mine is different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think we've lost a sense of community and connection
Yep.
and real community and connection
Mhm.
where
Yep.
we give, we get, we might not get exactly back from the same person that
Right.
we've given to. My mom had to teach me that this year. Um, and yeah, because I was having a hard time because I'm a very giving person.
Mhm.
And you know, tables had turned in some situation
Yep.
and, you expected some level of support back but didn't get it. And my mom had to say to me, well, not everybody you give to will give exactly back to you or
Mhm.
whatever, but it'll come back to you in some way. And I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
that's where community and real connections actually
Mhm.
come in. Because, like in somebody's posts on social media, on LinkedIn, whatever platform it is, that does not build connection. That does not build
Absolutely. Yeah.
community. And
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people struggle today,
Yeah.
is actually forming a real sense of camaraderie and
Yeah.
friendship and support systems. And there's this sense of isolation, but also because people, I think, have become too individualistic.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's less of the greater good, but and only for the individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. And we've so lost that. I mean, my parents
Mhm.
emigrated from England and we had no family here. There were just my
Yeah.
three brothers and I and my dad and mom and dad. We had nobody. So we were very isolated. We had, but we moved a lot. So there was that also was isolating. And to ask for help was just, I just didn't do it. I had to take care of things on myself. I didn't have the support system because I
Yeah.
didn't have a village around helping to raise me. So, and to your point about the giving, I always say to when people, think of yourself as an apple tree. Please take my apples. Go ahead, take my apples, but you can't have everybody taking your apples without somebody watering your roots to grow those new apples.
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean that's it's a hard one to draw that boundary, but
Yeah.
we get there. It takes a
And
while.
an apple tree can't produce apples unless it's filling itself with nutrients. And
Yep, 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 yep.
that's where the love
100%.
comes from,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's just us with people, women. We can't flourish unless we're filling ourselves with nutrients.
Yeah.
Self-love, self-care, and are two of those nutrients that I'm just big on. Mhm.
What do you love most about yourself, Kim?
I love my energy and my spirit that it took me a while to get here, but I'm really happy where I am. And it's just all the lessons I learned, and I'm open to learning more and more and more all the while. And I just want to help women. I just think it's just I have to get rid of the word just. I want to help women
Yeah.
just build the lives that they want, shine, because we've been taught to dull ourselves down. So let's
Mhm.
it took me a while to shine because I didn't stand the way I was raised. You didn't stand out. You I still struggle with that in some family situations, but
Yeah.
in general, yeah.
You're you're shining, and I like that you're so passionate about um what you're working on and what you're doing and how
Mhm.
you're helping others because you've walked that journey. And I
Yeah.
think
Mhm.
there's nothing there's there's nothing more important than having somebody that can understand you
Mhm. Mhm.
in a very specific way. So I can absolutely see the value that you deliver to your clients on a regular basis. So, as you build your coaching business, you talked about going into more of a group setting.
Mhm.
Um, will you still continue to focus on women in their like late 40s, 50s sort of transition period of their lives, or are you looking to expand beyond that?
I will coach, well, men and women too. No, I will never, if someone comes to me, I might not be the right coach for them, but if somebody comes to me and they're in need, oh, I will absolutely coach. I just say I coach women 50 and above because that's sort of the, oh, I figured that part out for me. But
Yeah.
I mean, our struggles aren't just women 50 and above. Our
Mhm.
women's struggles are universal. They go from a very young age up. Yeah, so I would always coach women no matter what the age.
Yeah. And how does someone determine who's a good coach for them? And how do you
That's
determine you're the right coach for that person? Because there's so many coaches around.
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
there I get ads every single day about how to be the best coach ever. This
Yeah,
is how
yeah,
you can
yeah,
build a
yeah,
coaching business.
yeah,
So when the market is so saturated
yeah.
in a way like this, what are some things that people could look for to say this coach is the right match for me and the right goals that I have?
That is such an important question because I have people approaching me as well. And I'm like, no, 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 it has to work. There has to be a connection because the work I do, oh my gosh, I go into the down and dirty and get, you think personal? Ooh, the questions, and it has to be a trust factor. So
Mhm.
I've had people come to me and it's just a silly thing, but if they make me go, no, and I don't
Yeah.
do it visual, but there has to be a connection. There has to be a trust. And the person has to be ready because I've had people come to me for coaching and they weren't ready. It's
Yeah.
a tough place to be that you are ready to let go of control
Mhm.
and let go of the old ways because you've been doing this for how many years. So sorry,
Yeah.
back to what makes a good client. There has to be that trust and connection. Like somebody, even the example I'm going to use is the people who grow your Instagram. I
Yeah.
can do this. I can get you so many followers. You know
Hmm.
nothing about me. And that's, I want to get to know you. This is my clients. I want to get to know you and I want you to get to know me because I'm not for
Hmm.
everybody. I can be a little bossy. I know that, but it's all for the greater good. And I
Hmm.
start most sessions off with, I might tick you off at some point, but you can tell me. You can,
Yeah.
I'm giving you permission to tell me to, and you can insert the swear word. There's a has to be a trust between the two and a
Yeah.
connection. And you just know that connection. I can't explain it, but it's just like when you and I met, it's like, oh, it's like I knew you before. And I still can't figure out where I know you from, but that's the connection I always look for.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think? Because people that might be listening, and I guess I sort of have this question as well too, is what do you see the difference between sort of like a therapist and a coach, and why somebody should choose a coach over a therapist or vice versa?
That's a really interesting question. I went to a therapist once and it was a lot of talk. And there wasn't, in my opinion, and I know less than nothing about therapists, there wasn't a lot of solution oriented work. They would just tell me what happened, tell me what happened, tell me. I don't want to keep talking about what happened. This I wanted a solution. Whereas I find that with coaching is we'll find what happened and let's get a solution. Let's find an answer. Let's find a way to heal that. And I don't know how therapists work. I do know I had one client came to me, and it was a man. After 3 sessions, he said to me he had more results from my 3 sessions than after 20 years of therapy. So
Wow.
I am not saying one's better than the other. Some people want therapists, some people want coaches. Again, it's a personal decision what to it psychologist didn't work for me, so I was looking for something different. So that's why I went into coaching. So I think they're just two different
Mhm.
modalities.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think you're right in the terms that, they are two very different things, and not everyone practices therapy the same way,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
also not everybody practices coaching the
Coaching
same
the same
way.
way. Yeah.
And I think maybe the challenge that people might have with coaches, because we do live in a credential-based society,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
exists for a
Mhm.
reason, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like, am I going to, because just as much as you, as the coach, needs to trust that client needs to trust you.
Right.
So in terms of building trust and building someone's confidence to know that a coach is right for me, because they've had XYZ experiences, right? You
Mhm.
told me
Mhm.
you've done some training
Mhm.
around how to become a coach ultimately.
Mhm.
And sometimes coaches work with therapists as well too. So
Right.
how do you bring those things together? And I guess the question is, how does somebody maybe start to assess for themselves whether a coach is what they want or a therapist is what they want? Because sometimes
Right.
people see them as interchangeable, and
Right.
I don't necessarily think that they're interchangeable. I think coaches maybe are a little bit, like you said, more action oriented
Mhm.
and very specific. So whether you want a career coach or a physical trainer, personal trainer type
Right.
coach,
Right.
right? Those are all different coaches in their own rights.
Yeah, and that's a real, again, an interesting one. I don't know how people decide that. I know with coaching, it's an unregulated profession. I have 3 certifications because of my own imposter syndrome. I took personal empowerment. I took master empowerment, gentle trauma. I needed that for me, and I
Mhm.
between you and me and the gay post that's going on in your podcast, I see coaches who are not certified and they scare me, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Because I know one in particular is like, oh my God, you were, I've watched her style. Inflicting trauma is what I see, but she's got clients. She has that works for people. So she's not trained, but it works her style. I know a number of coaches that are not trained. It works for them. I trust your gut. You know if the person is right for you. Accreditation is important. It's not the be all and the end all, but
Yeah.
for me it was important to be have the accreditation to do because you can anyway. So and
Yeah.
how do you decide whether you want therapy? The only time I've ever had an issue was when somebody was threatening suicide. I mean, I'm a trauma, I can coach
Yeah.
that. But if you're in an action where you're threatening that, okay, we need to get different professional services involved in that. That's out of my realm. And I don't ever hesitate to say that's out of my wheelhouse because
Yes.
people's safety is ultimately the most important. But sorry, so that person I felt would be better with the therapist than with me if that's
Mhm.
where their mindset was, because there's medication that would be needed as well, which
Yeah.
again, it's not for me. Mhm.
Yeah. I think what you said is really important, is being able to say that no, this is not something that I do. And I think being able to transparently say that to an existing client or a potential client
Mhm, mhm.
is really important because that's the trust to say, I know where my boundaries
Yep,
are. I know where
absolutely.
my specialties are. I know where my training begins or ends. And like you said, it's an unregulated profession, which makes it really scary for people to approach and
Mhm.
um they're bad apples that spoil the bunch, right?
Yeah,
So
in every profession, but yeah,
in
exactly.
every
Yeah,
profession,
yeah,
in
mhm,
absolutely
yeah,
every profession.
mhm,
So yeah, I just wanted to ask that question because,
it's
sometimes people
important.
just don't know
Yeah.
how to think about what is it that they actually need, to determine where they actually need to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And as I said before, I have no problem saying "Mm-mm, that's not for me," or "this
Yeah.
person isn't for me." It's important that you get the right coach. It's important that the connection that we have, we're going to go deep. So it has to work with two of us. Because I have taken on people that weren't right for me. Like, ah, that's I wasn't doing them any services, nor was I doing myself a service. So it's important to have the right person.
Yeah. I absolutely believe in having the right fit in
Mhm.
terms of who you're sharing with. Are you
Yeah.
getting a good unbiased response?
Mhm.
And are you being shown empathy as well too?
Oh,
Because
huge.
that's huge.
And there has to be the flexibility. If you have a coach that's very rigid and doesn't work with the flexibility that you need,
Hmm.
that's a sure sign right there. Is I've had I hired a coach that said, okay, you have to do A, B, C, D. No, that doesn't really work for you. Yes, you must. And she was
Yeah.
having none of it. And so, okay, this isn't going to work between the two of us. So,
Hmm.
mhm.
But isn't a little bit of coaching, being able to stretch yourself beyond where you are? Because maybe for you that didn't work, but maybe for someone else that type of accountability is what they actually need to develop
Oh,
in.
I 100% agree. That's exactly what coaching is, taking you out of your comfort zone. Just the modalities, what she was asking, she wasn't listening to me, and it was that's not what I'm here for. No, you
Mhm.
must do it. No, that's not what I. No, I learn from every client, and every client, hopefully, I would say, learns from me because there is that flexibility. And I'm going to take you out. I said that before. I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone. I might tick you off because I will challenge you when I see there's a challenge necessary. I'm not going to offend you or hurt you or traumatize you, but it is a stretch, and it should be a stretch. Otherwise, it's not coaching, because it's status
Yeah.
quo is why you're here. You want to be stretched out of that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, this has been a very good conversation. We've touched on so many things
Yeah, I
today.
know. I've enjoyed this. This is
It's
good.
Yeah, it's a good conversation. And so as an entrepreneur, I know we didn't really talk too much. We talked about a lot of around what you do and things like
Mm.
that. But as an entrepreneur yourself that started, later in life when a lot of people think that time's up,
Yep, yep, yep,
don't take the risk.
yep.
Why rock the boat?
Mhm.
Why did you rock the boat?
I think the boat was meant to be rocked. I status quo has never been my thing. Rules are to me guidelines.
Hmm.
And I think we need the boat rocked. We need to, I mean, because women sitting there being told to be subservient, not so much anymore, like Handmaid's Tale and Gilead. God, I hope we never get there. But we
I
need
hope
to
so
stand
too.
up and be heard. And we have so much value, and it's just we've been conditioned to play small. And I don't want that. I think I have always wanted to champion women, and I don't know where it came from. It's not in my family. It's just I'm kind of the purple squirrel in my family. They're all Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, looking at me. But I love that I can help women and
Mhm.
rock that boat and change things for the
Yeah.
better.
So, and that's a bigger motivation for you than, I guess, everything else. And I guess
Yeah.
the fact that you also have three daughters that
Mm.
are women and will become women, in their lives.
Yes, yeah, very strong and independent. That's what I wanted for them, and the strength that they've got, even the careers that they picked are very interesting careers and whatnot. So that was important that they
Mhm.
did what they wanted when they were looking to go to university. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
That was, that was 30 years ago, and I didn't realize back then that that's what I'm doing now. What do you want to do?
Wow. Wow. Full circle. Full circle.
Yeah.
So, Kim, there are three things I want to ask you. I want you to
Okay.
think of one word for each question.
Okay.
And this is all around your last year in being an entrepreneur. So, we're going to look back a little bit. What is one thing that you learned from the last year of being an entrepreneur?
Growth is coming to my head. I don't know why it's growth. Growth.
Hmm.
Never stop.
Growth.
Hmm.
Okay, that's one thing you learned. What is one thing you would like to leave behind last year?
Wow. A legacy. I would like to leave a legacy. Now, what that
Hmm.
legacy will be, that's a work in progress.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And so for when I say leave behind, this is something that you decided that you're not taking forward with you because it didn't serve you last year. That's what I meant.
Oh, leave. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I see what you're saying. Leave behind. There's the toxicity of the world, shall we say? We kind of briefly talked about that, but there's a lot of toxic energy around, and I can't be around that.
So, in your entrepreneurship journey, you felt like that toxicity like impacted you and how you did your
Hmm.
business
Hmm.
and
Hmm. Hmm.
okay, okay.
Hmm.
That's good. That's good. And
Hmm.
what's one word that you want for your future?
Joy. I want joy everywhere.
I like that.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
like that a lot. Um, it's funny because I have a really good friend that I talked to, and we were defining joy just weeks ago.
Isn't that
Um,
interesting?
yeah, yeah, and it's really about this like deep rooted, I guess, happiness, this childlike, starry eye moment in the small things. And
Yes,
those
yes,
that is what
yes.
adds up to bring happiness. And
I agree.
so
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
really like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Walking by the lake
Amazing.
brings me joy. Animals bring me joy. I love my grandkids. Well, kids too, but the grandkids
Yeah,
at this stage. Yeah. Hmm.
bring you joy. Amazing. Well, Kim, let the people know where they can find you.
They can find me at itsawonderfullifecoaching.com. And I have a freebie on there for self-love. We didn't talk about self-love at all, but I am an advocate for self-love because we have learned to not love ourselves. So we got to learn to really love ourselves again. And I'm launching a course soon. I have a master class coming up on the framework, those 4 pillars that we talked about, to teach
Amazing.
women how they can do that themselves and take their power back themselves, one moment at a time, one notch on that dimmer switch at a time.
Yeah. And what were those four pillars again?
There is dream,
Mm-hmm.
heal,
Yeah.
mindset,
Mindset.
and make your plan for the
Amazing.
future.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Wonderful.
so much, Kim. It's been such a pleasure chatting with
It
you.
has been an
Um,
amazing pleasure talking to you. Your questions are so insightful. I have really enjoyed this.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I just love having these organic
Yeah,
conversations with,
yeah.
business owners that I've met, people in Hamilton, just working to make, the city and everything we do here that much better. So
No kidding.
I'm
Again, and
very,
back to
very
it takes a
excited about
village.
it.
You're helping the village. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
for sure.
amazing. You're wonderful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Felicia. I really appreciate this.
Perfect. Well, stay tuned, everyone, for next week's episode.
All right, have a great day.
Mm. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We're so glad to have you as part of our Buzzworthy community as we grow our network of buzzworthy businesses. Continue to follow us on all the social media platforms at buzzworthy_pod and follow us on whatever platform you're listening to so that you can get the new episodes as soon as they're out. This Buzzworthy podcast could not be done without our incredible team, starting with our music by Khaled Imam, our video and sound engineer, James Clark, Yvette Robichaux, our social media manager, Cesar Cardania, our brand and creative lead, and finally, your host and executive producer, Shalacy Harris. We'll see you next week.